Hey guys, welcome back to I'm an Actor, Not a Therapist. I'm Sammy. So, what's going on? So, since I have last left you all, some very interesting things have been going on this side of the microphone. I know that I've talked in the past couple months about a curveball having been thrown my way and things like that. And like I always say when I do my TikTok lives and things like that, I try to keep my 9 to 5 life and my other stuff separate from each other. Unfortunately, at this point, the two have kind of met in the middle. Um, and unfortunately, right before Christmas, um, I was laid off. Now, it's okay. I had a plan in place. I knew that it might happen, so I planned accordingly for it. What I did not plan accordingly for was the feeling of being unemployed again, because the job that I was in for 7 years. So I hadn't been unemployed in I don't know how long, right? And it's only been 2 weeks, so I'm okay. I am, obviously I'm doing my podcast and you guys are seeing more content come out on my different platforms. But what you guys aren't seeing is the interviews that I've been going on and the job applications that I've been putting in, because again, it's not something that I talk about when I'm on TikTok or anything like that. Only certain people that I trust know the full depths of what's been going on and stuff. And that's like any of us. We all have things that we only tell certain people, right? But I have a little story, and I hope that you all take out of the story what you need. And then we can talk about what it is I want to talk about today when it comes to the real topic of conversation that I wanted to have with you all today. I went on an interview the other day. I'm not going to give any real details about what kind of business it was or anything like that, but it was a small business and it was run by two individuals, very tiny office, had maybe 5 people working there. And it was a good interview and I liked them and they were very friendly and the people that worked in this office were very friendly. But there were things that were missing from what I need to have if I go back to a 9 to 5 desk job. And so I thanked them for the interview like you're supposed to do. I left. I didn't give another thought about it, having left the office, having made up my mind. Yesterday, today is Sunday. Full disclosure, today is Sunday. Yesterday, I was driving somewhere and my phone rang and it was them. And they offered me the position. And I turned it down. Why did I turn it down? Here's why I turned it down, right? We had a whole discussion on this show about knowing your self-worth as an artist and where us as artists get our self-worth from, how much of ourselves we put into our art. But at the end of the day, even artists are human. Even artists need to know what their self-worth is as a person, right? So the old version of me would have taken this job just to know that I had another job. Oh, good, I get to go back to work. I'll have a guaranteed paycheck again. All of these things that you tell yourself when you're going through this, right? But I thought about it and I said to myself, no, you deserve better. There are other opportunities coming down. You have other interviews coming up. You don't necessarily need this position. Would it be nice to take this position and go, oh, good, the job hunt is over? Yeah, of course. Of course it would. I don't know any person looking for a job right now that wouldn't take the first thing that came across their table. And that's unfortunate that people will take the first offer that comes along. And I'm not just talking about work, I'm talking about life too. You stay in that friendship because you think that's the best you can do. You stay in that job because you don't think you can go anywhere else. You stay in that relationship because in your mind, nobody else is going to want you besides that one person. And we fall into this trap of just taking the first thing that comes along because we don't know what'll happen. We don't think we can do better for ourselves, whatever the case may be. We often fall into this trap. I've done it. I don't know anybody in my circle that hasn't done it. Because none of us are mind readers. None of us can know the future. And, maybe this is the best you can do. I doubt it, but maybe. Or maybe there's something even better waiting for you if you just take a second and tell yourself, I am worth more than this, right? I am worth more than this friendship that makes me walk on eggshells. I am worth more than this job that not only mentally saps my energy, but also emotionally, physically drains my energy. I can do better than the relationship that is not what I thought it was going to be. And it is a very hard journey that we take to understand that we deserve better, that we can do better, that, our self-worth needs to be a measuring stick for ourselves, not against other people, but against ourselves. You always want to do better for yourself. I want a better job than the one that I just had. I know what I'm willing to do, what I'm not willing to do. I know where I need to be in terms of pay, because let's face it, at the end of the day, it's going to come down to bill pay, because we all need to pay bills to survive. I don't care what you do for a living or what you do outside of your chosen job. Everybody needs to pay bills. So that has to be a thing. But there's also other aspects of, what it is I now know that I need in order to be happy if I go into another desk job like the one I just had. Now, I'm not saying that this happened overnight. Gosh, no. Gosh, no. Like I said, if this were a year ago, 2 years ago, I would have taken that call and I would have taken that job. And I would probably be starting on Monday morning. But because of the people around me, because of the fabulous support system around me that kept reminding me, you can do better, I now know that I deserve better, right? I deserve to be in a position that doesn't cause panic attacks, that doesn't cause me to be angry all the time, that doesn't, make me wonder how I'm going to pay my next bill. The same is said for, the relationships that I've been in, like the friendships I've been in. Taking a look at the friendships that I've ended in the last year. I deserved to not be treated the way I was being treated. And at the end of the day, remember, this is as a person. This isn't even as an artist. We had that talk. We had that talk months ago. But I don't think we've ever actually sat down and talked about self-worth as it stands for yourself as a person. And that hits deep because it makes you genuinely look at yourself in the mirror and say, I deserve better than what I'm doing right now. If you're happy with where you are in life, then congratulations. I wish nothing but the best for you. I think that that is absolutely amazing. And you have my full support going forward. If you are 1,000% happy with what you're doing in life, I am so, so happy for you. But for those of us that are learning what our self-worth is, finding our voice and boundaries, finding out what we need as people in order to be happy, it can be a very daunting thing when you start to realize what your self-worth is, right? Because I could easily yesterday have been re-employed. Tomorrow, Monday, could have been my very first day at a brand new job, working 4 days a week, having 3 days off, and wondering how I'm going to make all of my bills work. But at least I would have had a job, right? You see the difference? It's a very interesting thing when you start thinking about self-worth, because at that point, then you open a much bigger conversation. You open a conversation about your boundaries. No, I'm not going to have this conversation with you because I feel like nothing will get done because you are unwilling to open your mind to the conversation. No, I don't want to take this job because I don't know how I'm going to get all of my bills paid. No, I don't want to go on that trip because it doesn't make me comfortable. No, I don't want to be around those people because they don't make me feel good about myself. These are some of the boundaries that I have recently put in place for myself. And the more boundaries that you put up for yourself, and remember, your boundaries are for you, they're not for other people. Your boundaries are to protect your peace, protect your state of mind, protect your inner body. They're not for other people, they're for you. So you say, no, I don't want to do this. The more that you put these boundaries in place for yourself, the more you realize that boundary, those boundaries are shaping what you feel your self-worth is. One more time. The boundaries you put in place are for you. And the more boundaries you put in place, the more you realize that you are forming your self-worth. Does this make sense? Because the more stuff that you say, no, I don't feel comfortable with this. No, I don't want to do this. The more that the other half of you goes, I want to do this. I want to go here. I want this kind of job. I want this kind of friend. I want this kind of relationship. You're slowly building your self-worth. You're slowly telling the world what you want. And you're telling yourself, I'm not going to settle for less. I'm going to do this because this is what I want to do. Because doing something else that I've been doing doesn't make me happy. Being in this friendship makes me feel uncomfortable. Being in this relationship is causing me stress. And the more that you start to put these boundaries in place for yourself, it's amazing how the anxiety that you feel about stuff also starts to dissipate. You won't be afraid to tell people, no, I don't want to go to this place. I didn't like it the last time I went. And that's if you decide to give people an explanation. Never forget, no is a complete sentence. And you owe nobody an explanation for your no as a complete sentence. But again, we go back to support systems all the time, right? And one of my friends and mentors recently put a story up on Instagram talking about how absolutely vital it is to have a sincere, rabid, rabid love support system around you. And this is what I've been saying, is that, sometimes people are only as strong as their support system is. Now, I'm not saying that I can't stand on my own 2 feet. You should be able to stand on your own 2 feet, especially if you're going to start putting boundaries in place for yourself, especially if you're going to start to find your voice, especially if you're going to start developing what your self-worth is. Absolutely be able to stand on your own 2 feet, because at the end of the day, that is between you and the universe. Your boundary is your self-worth. This is what I want my life to look like. That's between you and the universe. But building your self-worth and knowing who you are becomes a lot easier if you have people around you that not only respect that, but stand up for you and say, yes, absolutely. That is absolutely how we're going to make this work. And will stand with you when others try to test your boundaries or when others try to tear you down. It happens a lot online. I'm a content creator, among other things. And some of the things that have been said to me in comments, on lives, just in general, the support system that I have, 9 times out of 10 will see the comments before I even get to them. And they will stand up and say, Sammy said no. Sammy said this. Sammy said that. If you're not going to respect this, you can leave. Before I've even seen the comment. And then I'll see it and I'll go, there they are. There's my tribe. There's my circle. It's very eye-opening, and it's lovely to see when it works. My best friend of 30 years at this point, whenever there's a boundary that I put in place, and she's put boundaries in place as well. We know what each other's boundaries are. We always respect each other's boundaries. And again, if she ever sees somebody going after me, she's right there. If I see somebody going after her, I'm right there. It's developing a circle of people that you feel safe with. Not just people that like you, not just people that are like, oh, you're my friend. No, there's so much more to that. If you're going to develop your self-worth and you're going to, and again, even though this is a completely even though this is, y'all, I'm working on coffee. I swear it's there. Even though this is a complete solo exercise in finding your self-worth, your friends can't tell you what your boundaries are. Your parents can't tell you what your boundaries are. You have to find out what your boundaries are. You need to discover what your self-worth is. Nobody can do that for you. But if you have a group of people around you that are absolutely rabid in protecting your self-peace, that are rabid in making sure that you feel loved and protected, that is feeling safe. And there is a huge, huge difference in just having a group of friends and having a group of friends that make you feel completely loved, safe, and protected. And I have had to learn this the hard way. Why I dismissed certain people out of my life. Because they no longer made me feel safe. They no longer respected my boundaries. They no longer served why we became friends in the first place. And so finding my voice, finding my self-worth, and knowing that there were people out there that genuinely loved me, that genuinely wanted the best for me, that genuinely you know, wanted to keep me safe. I, you know, made the decisions I did to make sure that the people that did make me feel loved and safe and protected were the people that I had in my life. And those that didn't no longer had any access to me. And that's something that I still carry through. Just because I made some big cuts last year does not mean that that won't ever happen again. I mean, obviously, it's not something you could foresee, but, you know, it's just one of those things that you kind of figure out and learn while you're finding your self-worth, while you're taking that journey on your own. Listen to the people around you. Test the boundaries. Give them a boundary. Give somebody that you think you're close to a boundary and watch how they react. Their reaction will tell you what you need to know. I'm just saying. And then act accordingly. I would never tell anybody to throw everybody out of their life. But maybe conversations have to be had. Conversations have to be had and things readjusted. Because, at least for me, I will no longer have people in my life that do not encourage me to have my self-worth. When I turned that job down the other day, the people that I told said to me, good. I'm glad you didn't take that. This is why I'm glad you didn't take that. And don't worry, something else will come, and I'm here for you. You're better off without XYZ. You can do better than this. And those are my people. And it's a very interesting road to find your own self-worth. And I hope that if you are listening to this, you take this waffle of an episode and you start looking at your own self-worth. Because if you're unhappy, why would you want to remain unhappy? Why? Why would you want to do that to yourself? Start looking at what makes you unhappy. See if you can pinpoint it. See if you can grow from it. And start forming your self-worth, because you are worth it. You are worth the time that this will take you. And again, this will not happen overnight. Absolutely not. But I promise you, it will be worth it. Guys, if you like this episode, go ahead, like, comment, subscribe. Find me on YouTube, find me on TikTok, find me on Instagram. My messages and DMs are always open. I'm always open for topics or guest suggestions, anything like that. But do go ahead, like, comment, and subscribe. It really does help in this world. And until next time, I hope you all have an absolutely fabulous, fabulous week. And I will see you next week on I'm an Actor, Not a Therapist. Have a great day, y'all.